Hello and welcome to another scrapbooking process video. Today I'm working on another pocket page, but this time I'm working on a couple of inserts from previous weeks. There were a few things that didn't get captured in my project life. One of them is my daughter's birthday, and the other is our trip to Cuba, for which I did lots of dedicated really detailed pages, but they're in a separate album. They're not in my Project Life album. So I just wanted to indicate that, by the way, we went to Cuba this week too, because it's not captured at all when I flip through my album. So I'm going to start by focusing on my daughter's birthday. So I have some of the supplies that I already had pulled out. These are mostly the May kits up in the top right hand corner of your screen there. But then over to the left, what I have is the Paper Person kit from a couple of months ago. I can't remember what month it was from, but it was a birthday themed kit. And so I took out those cards and also the embellishments that went with that one. And I'm using this template here, but it's basically the front and back sides of that page protector that has three 4x6 pockets on it. So I'm going to start by cutting this off because I like the Let's Party, but I don't want to use it as a card. I think I'm going to use it on top of of a photo, maybe right here or maybe someplace else. Oh, I really love this Anatomy of Cake card, and I'd love to use that, but I can't see how, but we'll see. So I pulled out this red data card that has happy birthday, and it has a place for you to write some things and put a date and then tick off how you celebrated in various ways. Boy, I love this tag, and I can't decide where to put it. Just kind of playing around with where things are going to fit, using a combination of like wanting to put pretty things on the page, but also wanting to make sure that there's room for all of the stories that I want to tell. And if I'm covering up things like I am with this tag, I want it to be like the less important things. This is one of my little tricks for using lots of different embellishments. I will cut them down and then layer them on top of each other to make them smaller. You can do this for the width or the length of something, and sometimes you can even do it for both the length and the width. You do have a little line across where you can kind of see, if you look really, really closely, you can see the layered paper, but really you can't see it. I'm looking at it right now and I can't even see it. So I used my crocodile there to poke the hole. I haven't used it. I kind of forgot that I had it for a while, but it's the perfect size for that hole on that particular tag. And then I decided to use some yellow twine in this. There's lots of red and blue in these embellishments, and also yellow is a bit of a secondary color, so I wanted to pull that in as well. And of course the card itself has red and blue and yellow on it, so that works well. And I like how that covers up the fridge and the cabinets in my kitchen and allows the streamers and the birthday sign to be more obvious when you don't have this big, heavy part kind of jumping out at you on the photo. Because I find that the fridge and the cabinetry was being too dominant in that photo. So I'm just using my roller date stamp here, and I was looking for a certain sentiment, and I can't even remember which one it was, but it was numbered incorrectly on the thing. I think it wasn't numbered incorrectly as much as I was looking at it wrong, because there's a little window on the other side that you're supposed to look through, and that tells you what number your stamp is on, but I was looking at the number on the bottom, which is not going to line up properly. So anyhow, I think I was trying to use kind of a big deal, but then once I found it and stamped it, I didn't like how it looked. So I just went with the stamp, with the date. So now I'm moving on to what will be the I guess the cover card or the title card of this insert. I'm going to use the Let's Party here. And I thought about matting that really pretty patterned card from the Paper Person kit. It came as a bigger piece, and I cut it down into two 4x6s. And as you can see, I'm just matting the Let's Party that I cut out from another card. I'm matting it with navy blue here, and this is just navy blue cardstock from my stash. I don't know what brand it is. And I keep just a variety of different colors of pattern paper cut down to, not pattern paper, but colored cardstock, cut down to half size just to make it easy to store them in a handy way. And so I just went through my little stash and picked out some other colors that I thought might work because it seemed like that blue little tiny mat wasn't doing enough of a job to really kind of give some space. It was kind of like looking too busy. So by adding this yellow mat as well, and now I'm just going to outline it to emphasize the edges of it and help it to stand apart from that fairly busy but very nice background pattern from the paper person card. It's actually a paper person paper, which is quite a mouthful, but anyhow, I'm going to pop it up just to give it even more definition from the background paper. And I think that this makes a pretty decent little title card to suggest that this insert is all about the party. I'm going to, instead of matting, I mentioned that I had thought of matting the overall card as well with the navy blue. I've decided to just outline it, and I am using a blue pen for my outlining in this case. So here's another card that I plan to use. This is on the back side of the insert. And for this one, I would like to make two photos here, two 4x6 photos, occupy the same space. So I'm going to use one of these photo flips from Simple Stories. I just had to pull out the page protector to remember which way I needed to put it. And so I'm going to layer these two embellishments from the Paper Person kit. One of them is a cupcake label, and then the other one says Celebrate Good Times. And I just want to layer these such that the Celebrate Good Times isn't covering up Jen's hand or too much of Liv's hand either, and certainly not the cake. But I don't want it to be centered with the label either, so I wanted it to be a little bit offset to the top. And so I just kind of arranged the two of them so that that would work. And now this back side of this photo flip gives me a place to use this anatomy of a cake card, which I liked so much and didn't think I'd be able to use. So I'm just going to fill in some of the data on this card, again using that blue pen. It is from the art store around here called Desserts. It's like our big box art store. I clicked off no for a la mode, homemade, and under frosting flavor, I put strawberry and almond, which were the filling flavors. And I clicked off fancy and left it at that. So I would love to put this party time right in the center of this photo. I think it looks best in the center. And if I just wanted to go from a design perspective, it would be in the center. But putting it in the center would cover up everybody's cake, and it's a picture of everybody eating cake, so I don't really want to cover it. So I shifted it down. It's a compromise that I made between, sometimes your storytelling and your design are at odds with one another, and usually the storytelling wins out. Sometimes it doesn't, but in this case, it did. Now, I was thinking I do have something to tell about this, like I have some journaling that's specific to this side of this insert, so I wanted to have some space for it. So I started to cut down that card so that it would be smaller so that I could put it in the middle of that patterned paper from the Paper Person kit, that gift wrap paper. But then I started to think, I don't think I'm going to have enough space on that to tell my story. Now, this is an offcut from an interactive element that I made on my last Project Life spread that if you follow my channel, you may have already seen it. It's from my late May page, and I made a interactive flip up card using an Ellie Studio die. And so part of that process, I ended up with this offcut, and I thought, this is a perfect size for putting some journaling on. So I held on to it, and I found it in my cards and thought, maybe this is where I'll do the journaling, because that paper that I cut that out of is a perfect match with some of the pinks in this page already. So my journaling here, I use my hot off the press journaling template to do the lines, and then I'm just writing, Liv wanted spaghetti for supper, but the power went out midway through cooking, so we improvised on the barbecue. Jen and Adam brought the cake, and Nanny and Ray came over for dessert and tea. It was a pretty special day. And yeah, so don't ask me how we managed to get spaghetti off the barbecue because we did. We're very lucky in that our barbecue has a little side burner. And so we just brought the pot outside, and it took almost forever for the water to boil. But once it boiled, we were able to cook the spaghetti. And the sauce was kind of already made by the time the power went out. So that was all right. And then we cooked garlic bread on the barbecue as well. And also, Liv loves this grilled cheese sandwich with brie and fig jam, and so we made that on the barbecue as well. So it was quite the gourmet meal brought in from outside. So I just trimmed, I matted that with the navy blue. Again, it felt like it was kind of getting lost on that busy patterned paper. So it also helps to tie it in with some of the other elements on this insert. And I like for things to be similar on the front and back of the page, even though you're not going to see them in the same eyeful, just because it emphasizes the fact that all of this insert is all part of the same story, which will be separate from what's on the pages around it. So for this photo, I had two photos, two different sizes. I wanted to include them both. One had one angle of our gathering and the other had the other. So I just pop dotted it onto it, and it's like a little insert. Now this photo and card is going to go on the front side of this insert. And I'm just going to look through my little binder that I have of letter stickers. This is my new way that I'm storing some of my stickers. I wasn't going to do my letter stickers this way, but I actually quite like it. It's a little 4x6 binder. I will leave a link to that. It will be an affiliate link, but I'll leave a link to that in the information section below if you'd like to check out those little books. They're just like little 4x6 photo books, and they're great and super cheap. So I am using those letters to spell out birthday bagel on the confetti card from the Paper Person kit. And it's not very legible, and so I'm thinking I'm probably going to outline it, and I'm probably going to outline it in a bold way, and it's not going to work well. You're going to see me, and I include my whole process, so I don't cut these sorts of things out, but this is not what's going to end up being on this card, because this is going to turn out awful. So I'm just going to put those away. And I'm going to outline. At first, I'm outlining with my regular Sharpie pen, but I'm thinking that's not going to be bold enough. And now I'm grabbing, this is a Faber-Castell Pitt pen with the brush tip. So it gives you quite a bold outline. And it looks okay, but it's not gonna keep on looking okay as I go. It is way too much darkness. You can even tell already that it is too much darkness for this otherwise very light and airy, like even the photo is quite light and airy. And so I'm putting all of this darkness on this, which is not, it's throwing off the whole balance. Now, if you like this look, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that I didn't like it. I was finding it was not giving me the look that I was looking for. I think it might have looked better if I had chosen maybe a bright color to outline with. Maybe I could have tried out my Archer and Olive paint pens and maybe outlined it in yellow, or yellow might have been nice, because it would have given it some boldness, but it wouldn't have been such a heavy color. So one thing that I thought I could do to offset all of the darkness is I could do like a double outline. So on top of my black outline, I thought I would do a white outline with gel pen. I'm using a Pentel Milky Pop or Milk Pop. I think it's called Milky Pop gel pen here, which is a new pen for me. I have various white gel pens. I do love a couple of different gel pens, including the Sakura Jelly Roll. But I heard about this one and decided to try it just so I'd know how it works. It works great. I love it. I'm going to do a video all about white gel pens and you'll see why I love it in that video. But oh my goodness, look at that. Awful. So let's just cover that up because that did not go as planned. The white gel pen just looks too messy and it's just all chaotic and distracting as opposed to this cool, funky, bold title that I thought it would be. Sometimes things don't match up in your head the same way that they do on paper. So I cut off part of that best birthday ever little data card, and I cut out because the top little rectangle for journaling in was about location, I think, and I don't want to put the location because it's clearly at home. So I cut out the one that said enjoyed and just layered it on top of the rectangle that was there so that I could write birthday bagel under enjoyed. And that way I still get to say birthday bagel. I also am documenting her age was 17 and that it fell on a Thursday. So now I am grabbing this card, the happy birthday card, and I'm writing on the lines that are already there. After several rough birthdays, even the little things mean a lot to her. A candle in her morning bagel, streamers in the kitchen. And I just used that white gel pen to cover up a little mistake that I made. I had put a period and then I decided to continue the sentence, so I just covered it with white gel pen. I ticked off small gathering and special meal, and then I'm also using my roller date stamp here to stamp out June 2nd, 2022. So now I'm just going to use some washi tape to stick these together because they are going into a 4x6 pocket instead of two 3x4 pockets, and it just took me a second to orient myself to how this pocket protector goes. This page protector is made by American Crafts. I actually got it from a friend. I don't know if they still make these or not, but my friend Stephanie gave me a package of these. And yeah, they're really handy to use for inserts, especially when you've taken a lot of photos and want to get lots of 4x6s into your page. So I just use that snap, what is it called again? Photo flip. And when you do that, when you attach it to the edge of a page like that, it usually covers one of the holes. So I just repoked that hole using my Crop-A-Dile. And now I'm also going to put a little tab on this. These are the tabs that came in the Ali Edwards Stories by the Month kit for, I believe it was May. And I've been using those all over the place. I love those for my inserts. Now I'm just going to have a look at where this will be going in my project. I'm actually putting it ahead a week because her birthday fell on June 2nd and I had just finished scrapbooking the week that spread across the last week of May and into June. And but I'm sort of considering it to be the last May page, and June is going to start on the following page. So that's where I'm going to put the insert. It'll be slightly, it doesn't really matter. It's close enough. So for my Cuba trip insert, basically I just want to say, by the way, I went to Cuba here. My project life refers to the trip coming up. It refers to the trip being postponed. It refers to the trip being rescheduled and how we're waiting. There's also a photo right here on the right-hand side of your page with the pineapple and the beach chairs that says that this space is reserved for us. So I want the Cuba insert to go right here on this spread. So I just wanted to get a sense of what that spread looked like as I chose my how I'm going to do this. Now this is a Pipsticks bag. I get the Pipsticks sticker kit club every month, and I love that. The really unique, interesting stickers, and I have some videos on my channel about that. If you're interested, you can check it out. I also have an affiliate link below if you want to subscribe to that kit yourself. So I've been thinking that I might want to use these Pipsticks sleeves that the stickers come in for various projects around my room, and this is my first idea, is to use it as an insert for Project Life. And so what I did there was I cut a piece of the paper that comes in the Allie Edwards Stories kits. I printed it, I didn't print it. I cut it so that it fit exactly in the Pipsticks pocket. And so basically I was able to leave it at the width that it was, which was I think 8.25, and then I cut it just to fit the inside of the little baggie. And now I had printed out already these photos, but one of them was printed at the wrong size. So I wanted them to all fit together like a little gallery. So these are sort of like the highlight photos from the trip to Cuba. I don't want to have to say anything about this because I have really detailed Project Life pages in my travel album. I just want to note here, by the way we went, because I was talking about it in the pages leading up. And also check out the travel Project Life album to see how the trip went in more detail. So I'm going to mat all of these little photos on this navy blue paper that I already had on my desk from the other project. So bonus here for using up scraps. And I'm going to trim these down, but you know what? You don't have to be so perfectionistic with these sorts of things, especially when there's a lot of little tiny cards on one page. It's okay if they're not cut completely evenly. Nobody's going to notice. So then I'm going to place them together in a little bit similar to the way that you would do if you were putting them in a gallery on your wall or whatever. I just want them to look kind of balanced, and I want to have room for my title over on the other side, which I haven't decided what it will be yet, but it might be, P.S. We went to Cuba, check out the pages. I don't know what it's going to say. So I'm just putting the top and the bottom one in and then centering the center one based on those two. And then for this, I'm just going to scooch it over like that so that they look like a little bit of a off-kilter grid. And so I have some space for a title here. And so far, this is looking very blue and yellow with some flowers, and I'm realizing, hang on a second, this is not about Ukraine. I have documented Ukraine in previous pages, but I kind of want to make sure, oops, my hair was a little messy there. I want to make sure that it's not just all blue and yellow. I don't think I noticed that yet. So here I am looking for blue letters. So I just pull over my letter sticker Razcog, which is where I keep all of my thickers and similar types of letter stickers. Pulled out all those and immediately thought there's just too much blue and yellow if I go with one of those other colors. So let's try this green. I had been titling something else many years ago and left it on the wax paper. So I'm just pulling out the letters to spell out Cuba. And that's okay, but it's not all that readable with those skinny letters in this context. That might be why I chose to not use those letters that other time when I was spelling something else. But yeah, I'm going to kind of see if moving them around will fix it, but no. I just don't like how it's showing up. It's not providing enough dominance on my page. So I thought maybe I should switch, and I pulled out the Razcog was still right beside me, so I just reached over and grabbed out two different pink options. The first one didn't have the right letters, but this one has the right letters in it, so I'm going to spell out the word Cuba again. And this is called Delightful, I think, or Delight. I think I hold it up at some point for you to see the name of it. It's a chipboard, like a painted chipboard letter sticker. I love this font. I have a die set that's very similar to this, but it's a bit smaller. Very nice. Okay, so I bet you're not surprised to see me doing this. So now I'm going to take my Sharpie pen and just outline around the outside edges of these letters. I almost always do this these days. I just like the look. It gives it a little bit more contrast with the paper behind it, especially on a patterned paper. And it just gives it a little bit more substance and weight on the page and helps it to stand out from the background. I will show that in a second. I already added the freeze frame. Here it is. It's the Darling thickers from American Crafts. And they are darling. They're aptly named. So now I have Cuba. Now what am I going to say about Cuba? So again, picking something that isn't navy blue just to add to my color scheme here. I'm going to spell out "we went to" and then Cuba, and then I'll also spell out "this week." So these are October afternoon mini market stickers, which are one of my all-time favorite tile letter stickers, probably my all-time favorite tile letter sticker. Love these. And if you were lucky enough to stock up before they went out of business and stopped making scrapbook supplies, you might have some of these in your stash. Make sure you pull them out and use them because they are amazing. They're too amazing to sit in your stash. You got to get them on your pages. So there we go. I just scooched it over a little bit, and I find that when I can, I like to nestle my titles together like this. So I put the "went to" so that it was scooched up to the CU and nestled in the A sender of the B. And then I just left the "we" where it was, basically. And then I'm also going to place "this week" in a similarly spaced, like as far below the word Cuba as the "went to" is above the word Cuba. So I just made the spacing be as even as I could. And I don't often care about lining things up, but having a T ruler, like a small T ruler, is helpful for putting titles on pages like this. I just used a roller date stamp to stamp out April 8th and then April 15th, and then I drew in a little dash. Just going to put this in, and as I did, the letters started coming off, so I forgot to really burnish those down really well, so I did that. And now what I thought about doing here was printing up some words that say, "Check out the Travel Project Life album for details." And I did that, but it didn't print exactly the way that I wanted it to, so I had to print it twice. And I just cut that part out. I don't usually cut any of my process, but it was really long and lots of periods of time of an empty screen. So I just cut that part out so that you could see. I cut it into strips, so I printed it onto a little card. I just used my PM400 printer, which is an Epson PictureMate printer. And I was planning to put it on the back, but then I thought, what am I going to attach it with that I'm not going to worry about it coming off? I could have used score tape, but I just decided to put it on the front like this, and I'll just leave the back plain. It's fancy because it's got this really cool holographic design on it, so I don't mind that it's plain. And now this is my first time using this product. This is a die, and then I also have the stickers that are similar to the die from Studio Calico. And I'm not going to use the die today, but this is what it looks like. And then it comes with it didn't come, they were two separate purchases that I made. These are plastic stickers, like clear, transparent stickers that have holes on them that you can basically attach to something. And now it has a hole on it so that you can attach it to a binder like this. It's very hard for me to explain what it is and hard for you to see because it is completely see-through. But I think you get the idea. It's like a little rectangle. Well, it looks very much like the shape of the die that you can still see up there at the top of the screen. And these are tricky. They're tricky to put on. But I managed to get them on properly. I don't love them. They're a little bit too flimsy and difficult to figure out where to place. But I think that when I make them, I have an idea for using the die to cut it out of like a frosted plastic that I have in my stash. And I think that will be much easier to work with because you can see what you've got. And then I can just use score tape to adhere it to the sides of my inserts. So that is how I made the two inserts to complete off the past several weeks of my project life. No pictures to share this time, but I did want to do a quick shout out to my Patreon supporters. These folks help make this channel happen, so big thanks to all of them. Patrons get early, ad-free access to all my process videos and real-time unedited versions of my videos, as well as a monthly live stream and behind-the-scenes videos, so check that out if you're interested in that sort of content. And thanks to you as well for watching all the way to the end. Let me know if you have any questions or comments, and until the next time, have a really great scrappy week.